All right, guys, so time for a midday market recap. Today is day 43 of the $100,000 challenge, and I'm finishing the day up $6,189.79. So, not a bad day at all. Today was a day, though, where I was feeling a little bit of frustration, and I know that I took that frustration out on my trading account. And that is a risky thing to do. Um, when you start throwing around big orders, it can work, but it can also go the wrong way really quickly. And today I was on the right side of it, which maybe is luck more than anything. I'll break down, what kind of got me into that place today that I traded with frustration and the daily watch list. But the big picture is that yes, today is a green day. Tomorrow I'll open around $92,000, which means I'm around $8,000 from the $100,000 mark. So March 7th, I'm definitely, this just goes to show that a couple of really good days can really help you get some big steps forward. Yesterday was 5,600, today's 6,100. So, I'm up $12,000, nearly $12,000 in 2 days. I just went from being at 80,000 to 92,000. Two more days like that, and I'll be over 100. On the other hand, if I go back into a slow period, then obviously I'll just have to tread water. And that's really what I was doing last week. I made money last week mostly because of Friday, but I was treading water from February 23rd, really until Thursday the 2nd of March. During those, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of trading, I didn't actually turn a profit. I mean, those were 6 days where I dipped down and then kind of came back up, but I was net break even. So, obviously that could happen again. I could have a red day where I lose $4,000 or $5,000, and I'm gonna have to step back. I'm gonna have to readjust, reevaluate, and then start to, gear up for the next move, back up towards the highs. And that's just something that I'll obviously have to deal with if that happens. I know that I'll have another red day. Hopefully I can get to 100 before that, but knowing my luck, I'll probably go to like 101 and then drop down to like 95 and have to kind of recross that threshold. But hopefully I can cross it with some confidence and just really blast off. Now, when I started this challenge at the beginning of the year, in 2016, I made $222,000. So I thought that if I set my goal to take a $583 account and turn it into 100 grand, that would be, that would be a real achievement if I could do that in all of 2017. But at the same time, I knew that the hardest part would be building the account up to 25,000. Last year it took me a month to build from $1,000 up to 8,000. So I thought, well, geez, if last year it took me a month to get that far, it might have taken me another 2 or 3 months to get to 25,000 last year. So I was thinking this year, well, maybe it'll take me, all of January just to get to $8,000, or maybe even part of February, and then into March and into April just to get to 25,000. But I knew once I got to 25,000, I could move my money into my speed trader account, and I could go back to doing probably $22,000 a month. And so I figured, the hardest part would be that first leg of the challenge up to 25,000, and then from that point forward, I could really, grow at the rate of 20,000 a month. So from that point forward, it would probably only take 3 or maybe 4 months. But since I thought it would take 3 or 4 months just to get to 25,000, I was sort of projecting, it could easily take 8 months. And yeah, maybe 100,000 was a conservative goal for the entire year, but I didn't want to set the bar too high. I thought it would be, realistic to just kind of put it at 100,000 and see how I could do. So at this point right now, I'm up $92,000 in the small account in 43 trading days. Here we are, March 7th or whatever it is. So obviously I'm ahead of schedule by quite a lot. At the same time, on the month right now, I'm up about 15,900 on the month of March. Um, and we're about 1 week in. So I'm not sure that I'll be able to hit my goal or hit the gain that I had last month in February of $60,000. I don't think that I'm going to be able to do that in March. Um, I mean, obviously, if we keep having days like this, maybe I will, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure that that's going to be realistic. So far, it feels like trading is a little slower this month, so I don't think I'm going to get that far. But if I can get into the 30s or the 40s, that would be great. And if I can do 30,000 a month on average this year, that would put me at 350,000, 360,000 versus 220 last year. So if obviously if I keep having $50,000 months, $60,000 months, we'll just see what happens. But I'm just going to keep myself focused on these sort of short-term goals. They're easier for me to visualize, easier for me to stay focused on, and once I hit that goal, I just kind of set my sights just a little further down the horizon, and I just kind of keep doing that. And next thing I'll look back and realize have suddenly turned this into a six-figure account, or maybe a year from now it'll be 700,000 or something like that. I mean, who knows? But I'll just keep working it, and we'll see. We'll see where it gets me. So today, as I got started, I opened up my gap scanner, and I really didn't see anything that I was particularly crazy about. So the gap scanner is right here. I'll configure this historical time for 9 a.m. on today the 7th. So when I was looking at the gap scanner, I saw we had NMBL as our leading gapper, and I was like, all right, gapping at 45%. Let's look at this one. And I saw that it was a buyout. So buyouts trade sideways. They really don't move that much. So nothing there. So that one, I said, nope, nothing there. Meet me. This one we've traded in the past. Don't really like to trade it. Ended up, opening kind of weak and then just selling off. Now note that this one started its move after hours. I really prefer to trade setups that start their move pre-market, because when it starts after hours, then I always feel like, I'm kind of late to the party. Like the party's already started and I'm just sort of barely joining in. So I really prefer to get in these a little bit earlier. All right. So after hour trades, I usually avoid. And that's why ETRM I was a little skeptical about, because it started the move after hours. There was another one, NTN, same thing. There was news after hours. I think it was earnings. So both of these I was a little iffy on. It just was like, I'm not sure if I like them. And as the bell was about to ring, I said, look, NTN, we'll see what it does. It looks interesting, but I'm really not sure. ETRM, we'll see what it does. Maybe there's an opportunity, but I'm not sure. And look at this ETRM. In the first 5 minutes, we dropped down to a low of 691 and then spiked up to a high of 813. That's a lot of volatility, and right there is a lot of opportunity, right? Anytime you have a stock that moves a point in the first 10 minutes, there's opportunity. So even though this didn't have a lot of volume, only 400,000 shares, it was definitely moving a lot. Now, I was watching my scanners, and I was, of course, watching the chat room. Now, what ended up happening right around 9:15, and this is what got me really frustrated, was one of our servers crashed. And this is something that technology can be just an incredibly frustrating thing. Whenever we or anyone else has this issue with technology, it just gets me irrationally angry, because it's something that I always expect to work. I don't congratulate it when it's working. I just feel like you're doing your job. But when it's not working, I get very, very frustrated. And so, when the server crashed, I saw all these emails coming in. I realized I wasn't able to connect to my watch list. And that was obviously very annoying. So, all morning our tech team has been fixing that issue. We're back up, and we've been back up for a while now, but it got me very annoyed. So as soon as the bell rang, I was in this state of just feeling really agitated, which is not always the best mental state to be in when you're trading. Trading when you're frustrated, you can start to do stuff that you wouldn't do when you've got more of a calm head. And I think that's pretty much, what happened to me. I felt frustrated. I saw HTGM pop up, and someone said, "Hey, check this one out." This was on our scanners, maybe not as early as 9 a.m. It was on a little closer to the open. A slight gap here, and you could see it had a high of 320. And I said pre-market that, yep, I like this. I'll definitely have it on watch. So I had the level 2 on this one up. The bell rings, and it pops up to a high of 345 on that first candle. And then it pops up to a high of 351. So volume starts coming in. You've got about 300,000 shares of volume, 250,000 in the first 2 minutes. And so when I saw that, I was like, okay, this one's starting to move, and look at the daily chart. The breakout spot you can see is right here at the $0.50, and over that level, we've got lots of room. So I jumped in, 10,000 shares. I just jumped right in, 10,000 shares at 350, and then I added at 364. I added at 357, 364, and I added at 397. I think I had 16 or maybe 17,000 shares of this. I was being really aggressive on my share size. It pops up to 408, and I was hoping that we would continue up towards 450. Ended up coming back down, and I started selling at 392 and 389 and 376. And then I kept a position on this with a stop at break even, and I held that position all the way until this candle right here, this big red candle at 942. I was still holding my 500 shares or whatever it was until 942. But what I decided to do on this one was over 394 right here. I added back thinking that we would break over the whole dollar and go to high a day. This was the first 5-minute candle to pull back, first 5-minute candle to make a new high. And this ended up being a really sharp rejection of that level, right? We popped up to 403, and then we came all the way down to 351. I mean, this was the highest volume candle of the day, at least on the 1-minute chart, and it was all selling. And, I'm really not sure what caused that. I had sold most of my position sooner. I got back in, spiked up, and then obviously reversed, and I got stopped out. So I ended up giving back about $500 of profit on HTGM. But in total, I made $5,206. So a really solid trade, but with fairly big share size. Now, I don't think that the risk on this one was as bad because of the strong daily chart. Because of the fact that it was gapping up, it was a stock that we definitely had on watch for a lot of good reasons, but I sized up in a pretty aggressive way. I saw during that trade, I saw ETRM moving, NAKD, this one started spiking up here a little bit later in the morning. So, I was seeing stocks pretty active. And the next one was MYSZ. And on this one, I jumped in. I did the same thing. I traded it twice. I traded the first trade getting in at 350, which on this one was definitely extended. And I saw this was a gapper, coming up to 280. But at that time, I was like, I think it's too weak on the daily chart. Well, it starts to spike up. And so that's when I said, all right, I'll jump in this. It spikes up to 317. It pulls back. It pops up here to 336. It pulls back, and as we broke over 336, I started getting in at 340. And let's see, on this one, I added at 338, 341, 359, 363, and 351. So, I was, again, adding as it was squeezing up, and I was chasing it. I was being really aggressive on this one, but thinking as it broke over this blue line here, which was 363, that we had potential to gap fill up towards 641. which is true. This was a good daily chart, and this was big volume today. So, I was right on these things, but I positioned myself pretty aggressively. I think something about being frustrated, it's kind of like, you know, getting yourself kind of shaken up or sort of, into the zone before you go out on the field, and you just kind of like don't feel fear. That fear that I would normally have about having 10 or 15,000 shares and losing 20 cents. It's like it wasn't there this morning. I kind of was like, I don't care. And, the market was on my side, and that's good. And I'm trading the right setups. My instincts are still good, but today was the day I was being pretty aggressive. I wish I was this aggressive on a day when, we had a stock like DRYS or GLBS go from, $10 to $20. Like, if only I could be a little bit better about knowing when to, have the server crash. I could really harness this to my benefit. Maybe our tech team can look into that. But, in the meantime, today's the day where I got pretty aggressive. I did get back in MYSZ for the first 5-minute candle to make a new high, adding at 343 and adding again at 360. Let's see, I added again at 360 and 380. My thought on this was that this was the first 5-minute candle to pull back, and that this would go up to 380, break over high a day, which was 378, and go up to the whole dollar of 4. So I took 10,000 shares thinking it would work. And then in this candle here, we went from 75 all the way back to 37 and down to 27. I ended up losing $1,300 on it. So, this was one where I was being aggressive, and I got on the wrong side of it. I could have sold for profit easily, but I didn't. So, could this have been a $10,000 day? Maybe if the market was a little stronger, and maybe if I'd been a little tighter with my stops on the 2 losses. But 6,200, just about that, is good. And I think today, I'm glad to have a nice cushion here at the beginning of the month now, up 15,900 on the month, and maybe try to taper back a little bit, because a day like today, I think, could have been a day where I lost $5,000 or $8,000, and I really don't want that to happen, especially at this point in the challenge. I mean, I want to cross over that level, without having a really sharp pullback right before that big milestone. So, this just goes to show, even traders with years of experience, can sometimes get rattled and get frustrated, and that can impact our trading. Now, I think even while I was trading that way, I did have a presence of mind, and I didn't. I was being more aggressive than usual, but I wasn't taking 35,000 shares or something like that. I mean, I was still within my kind of max limits. I was just going straight to the edge rather than kind of testing the waters a little bit, and I've got to be a little bit more careful on that. So, in any case, fortunately, trading good setups, the right stocks, with gaps or news, allowed me to have a pretty solid day, and get myself that much closer to the $100,000 mark here. So that's kind of where we're at today. As we were kind of closing the opening range, finishing the first hour, the first 90 minutes, I was starting to look at the gap scanners, but I didn't see anything on there at all. There was nothing that was really looking good. So no trades off the reversal scanners is what I meant. No trades off the reversal scanners today. I had a couple that I was looking at, but I didn't get a trade. So, now we're going into lunch, and probably a good time just to shut it down until tomorrow. Hopefully we'll see some good opportunities tomorrow, and as we go into Thursday and Friday, and just really keep stacking on those profits here in the first full week of March. If I can get myself up to $20,000 profit on the month, I'm 4,000 away. That would certainly be a nice, a nice cushion to kind of get to that minimum profit target on the month in the first 8 days. If I can get to 100,000 by the end of this week, that would be awesome. But I would need to, I mean, this would need to be a $20,000 week. I mean, literally. So I haven't had a $20,000 week since, let's see, um, since the week of the 13th. And it started with two really solid days on Monday and Tuesday, 8,000 on Monday, 8,000 on Tuesday. I lost 1,800 on Wednesday, and then I made 6,000 on Thursday. So uh, let's be mindful that, my best trading is the beginning of the week. The end of the week is when I've been having some big red days. So Thursday and Friday, I definitely need to keep that in the back of my mind. I'm going to actually look for my sticky notepad, my post-it note, to write a note to myself to just be a little bit more conservative towards the end of the week. I don't know where my notepad went, but anyways, definitely just try to scale back a little bit going into the weekend. But, tomorrow, hopefully I'll be able to get a good opportunity, a couple good trades, and just keep grinding away, one day at a time. The most important thing with all of these trades is to keep stops as tight as possible. So with 10,000 shares on this one, I lost 13 cents. It's not a big deal. With 2,500 shares on HTGM, I lost 20 cents. So my average losers today are 17 cents, and my average winners are 26 cents. So even though my accuracy is only 50%, 2 winners and 2 losers, profit loss ratio is solid. This week, my average winners are 27 cents, and my average losers are 11 cents, which gives me almost the 3-to-1 profit loss ratio. Now, with a 3-to-1 profit loss ratio, if I'm right 50% of the time, I'm going to be a profitable trader. This week I'm right. My accuracy is, let's see, right now 57%. So it's not about being right on every single trade. It's about keeping the losses small and only taking trades that give you the potential for that 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1 profit loss ratio. And these ones definitely had it. So that'll be what we're looking for tomorrow. Same setups as usual. Hopefully we'll see some good opportunities, and we'll be able to jump right back in first thing Wednesday morning. All right, guys. So that's it for now. I can do a little Q&A here. Yes, I'll move the gap scanner over so you guys can see the Momo scanner. It is scrolled to the top. MOSY is on it. I saw this on it a little bit today. This one's given us a little bit of a breakout. A little consolidation there under 280, and then nice break from 280 up to 320. Not bad at all. Definitely a good one to watch. Again, that's an opportunity. That's a stock that's, up, what is it, up 48% right now. So, there's a big window there to capitalize and to generate some serious profits. Mentor class will be at 4 p.m. today, yes, for Warrior Pro students. We'll be doing beginner questions from 4 to 4:30, and then advanced questions from 4:30 to 5. I'll have the gap scanners right on screen share each morning. I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to post the watch list for a couple days just while we deal with the server issue and just make sure it's 100% fixed. So I just want to instead post in the chat room and not have that extra strain on the servers. Yeah, when is St. Patrick's Day? That's next Friday. So yeah, that should be doable. I mean, if I can make $8,000 between now and then, I think I should be able to do that as long as I don't have a big red day. So once I hit the 100K mark, I don't have any new challenge that I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep trading in this account, and I'll just kind of set my new target at maybe 150,000, and then 175 or 200 or whatever. Pretty much that's it. I'll just keep trading in this account, drawing out money from time to time. But this is the account that I'm going to trade in for a while. I mean, I don't really have any desire to try to repeat that challenge from 500 to 100 grand. I mean, it was definitely a lot of stress to do that. a lot of pressure, and so I don't really want to do that again. Not anytime really soon. I think I'll just be happy that when I've hit that milestone and just kind of keep trading as usual. So my percentage of good trades and bad trades, 57% this week are winning trades. So 43% are losing trades. That's where I'm at for the week right now. I think for the entire year, I'm around 70% accuracy though. Yeah, I mean, definitely there's people that are going to hate on me for, um, you know, making 100 grand in 3 months. I mean, whether I did it with a regular size account or a small account, people are going to hate on me. The thing is, I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, yeah, it's a challenge. It wasn't easy, but the hardest part was really just the first couple weeks building up my account. And building up an account is just a matter of finding good quality setups and scalping 20 cents here, 30 cents there, taking quick profits. Once you've got $5,000 in equity, I really think anyone could do it pretty much. I mean, $500 to 5,000 is probably the hardest part, and above 5,000 is fairly easy. Because, with $5,000, you've got $30,000 in buying power with SureTrader. I mean, you've got the buying power to take pretty much every trade I took today, except for one or two. But I mean, for the most part, you could have taken almost all my trades today with a small SureTrader account of $5,000 or $6,000. So, it's not really. I mean, I wanted to show basically that you can, because so many people think you need a lot of money to be a day trader, and you don't. It's not about how much money you have. It's not about having a big account. It's really about just having a strategy and having the skill. Now, I'm certainly not using 95% of my buying power right now. Um, as of right now, my buying power is like $250,000. So, I'm not going in with buying power hotkeys. I'm just going in with 5,000 or 10,000 shares for the most part to start, and then I add if it works. SureTrader minimum is $500. I've been using hard stops a little bit this week. I've been putting them out at basically after I sold pretty much and took all the profit that I really wanted. I've been putting a stop at break even. So I did that with HTGM. So technically, I only had one trade on HTGM because I never went to zero on the position before adding back. So, I sold whatever 15,000 shares and then bought back to 2,500 or whatever it was, and then went to zero. But I never went 100% to a zero position. The easiest thing for me to look at is the 5-minute chart. To look for the bull flag, to look for the flat top breakout, and you can see a really nice one here on MOSY. I mean, this is a very clean pattern right here under 280. A lot of traders noticed that, which is why it broke out as well as it did. I think, Maddie, the upper threshold of share size is going to depend on the stock. There are some stocks where you can take 50,000 shares, or you could take 100,000 shares. And there's some stocks where 20,000 is going to be really hard, or 10,000 might even be hard. So it's kind of stock specific. I mean, it depends on the float, but it's a liquidity issue. It depends on the relative volume. Does the stock have a lot of relative volume? And MOSY has very high relative volume today, but only 1.7 million shares. So taking 50,000 shares of this would be hard. But taking 10,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 wouldn't be a problem, I don't think, at all. I think one of the problems that I've had maybe recently or definitely today was just kind of adding into the squeeze. Now, That works well when you have a parabolic stock. When you have a stock that goes from, $3 to $4 and 4 to 5 and 5 to 6, you can add at every half dollar. You can add a little at 3, a little at 350, a little at 4, a little at 450, a little at 5, and just kind of keep adding. And what you end up with is a really big position with a good cost average. And then if you get that final just blow off top where it just sort of goes like straight up to $7 or $8, with that good cost average, you're gonna crush it. But I think I've been applying that to stocks that maybe don't really have that potential. So I just kind of add and add and add, and I'm essentially chasing it. But as long as I start with a good position, a good core, I think for the most part, it's been working out well. HTGM, I gave back some profit. Same with MYSZ. But my stats are showing that it's working. So yes, I know that I do chase stocks. A lot of people, might criticize me for that or say you should just, always buy on the pullback or buy at the low. The problem is you've got a lot of stocks that go, from 0 to 60. They, or not in terms of dollar, but just in terms of like they just explode, and you never really get a clean pullback. Like NOVN when it went from $4 to $8, we never got a clean pullback on that. So because I hesitated, I wasn't willing to jump in, I lost. So you have to think, well, look, if I'm going to just kind of jump into, just jump right into it, even though it's halfway up the run, I'll do it in a controlled way. So think of rock climbing. Most people are going to say, well, you should start. You should start at the bottom of the wall, right? And yeah, that makes sense. Start at the bottom of the wall. Start at the bottom, work your way to the top. But let's just say, for whatever reason, you kind of stepped out and you're halfway up the wall. Well, what do? Do you start, with a slack rope that's going to let you fall all the way down to the floor? No. You go out halfway on the wall, but you have a tight rope, and that's a stop. That's exactly what a backstop is. So you're like, yes, I'm getting out, and I'm already up 15 feet, off the ground, but my stop is, 5 feet below me. So maybe this is riskier than starting at the bottom, but I want to get out. I want to do this. I want to participate. I'm going to jump on it, and I'm going to have this tight stop. And that's basically what I do on my trades. I get in, maybe I'm getting in a stock that's already extended. Maybe I am buying a 1-minute pullback, but I'm getting in with a fairly tight stop, 20 cents. Average loss this week is 11 cents. Average loss, for all of, if I'm just scrolling back here, like months, is 18 cents. So, I'm getting in stocks with an 18-cent stop on average. That's fine to me, with the potential to go 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents or more. But, anyways, and that's just my 2 cents. Obviously, if you're a trader that prefers to, trade a little bit slower, that's fine too. This MOSY right here is a decent 5-minute setup. And I'm going to be actively trading both. I'm definitely going to be buying 5-minute setups, and I'll trade 1-minute setups when I see them. But I'm only going to really trade 1-minute setups on a stock that's either a former runner, has a catalyst, or is on the gap scan. That's kind of my minimum criteria. But HTGM and MYSZ both met that, which is why they were worth jumping into. All right, so with that, I'll let you guys enjoy the lunch hour, and we will jump back in first thing tomorrow morning. All right, guys, I'll see you in the morning.
Let's be honest. If you made it this far, you must have really enjoyed that video. So what's stopping you? Subscribe right here and get email alerts anytime I upload new content. Until then, happy surfing!